Do you know what? When you try, well, basically, as the dream for actors to tell interesting stories about interesting people, and they don't come as extraordinary as Stephen and Jane's story. So when I read the script, I fought incredibly hard for this part, but you do it blindly. You do it trying to persuade people that you're really confident, you know exactly what you're going to do. It's like any sort of job interview. And so when I did get cast and I realized I had persuaded James, our director, that I knew what I was talking about, I then had a moment of elation and then a sort of several months of great trepidation and fear. It was an amazing privilege, but an amazing responsibility as well. So yeah, it was many sleepless nights. But once Stephen and Jane saw the film and were kind about it, then that was an amazing. I had a very good night's sleep that night.
Eddie, to your left over here. Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
As a fellow Brit, congratulations again. How does it feel being part of what looks like a bit of a British invasion tonight? A lot of British winners. Is your access in Hollywood a bit better than maybe it was before for Brits? Does you see any change?
Oh gosh, do you know, I have no idea. For me, I started up doing theatre in London, and I was really film illiterate, and it's taken. And I just thought, I'd do plays if I was lucky enough to be employed. And gradually, as I started coming over here and being educated by amazing American directors and actors and British actors and directors, it's the whole thing has been a huge education. I remember when we first came over here, we would tend to, the Brits would stick together because LA is such a confusing city when you first arrive. No, so I have no idea what why there are so many Brits here, but I'm thrilled to be one of them.
Eddie, right here.
Yes,
Here?
yes, Eddie.
Congratulations on the win. From the first frame of the film, you completely embody this character. You do it subtly, then you kind of do it within your face way. Ironically, as the film progresses, it seems that as Hawking is deteriorating, your presence is even stronger. And what, kind of following up on an earlier question, were the subtleties harder, or were the more broad strokes of, as we all know, Hawking to be harder for you, or both?
The interesting thing about the process was that unfortunately we couldn't shoot chronologically. So the hardest thing was making sure that the performance melded, and that you didn't hopefully look and find the moments or the transitions. The interesting aspect of it for me was that when you meet Stephen, even though he can move so few muscles, he has all of the facilities that we have of voice, of gesture, of all of those energies are channeled into those few muscles he can move. And for me, the great privilege of this film was being able to do it on film, as in to do it with a camera, being able to see the intricacies and the nuances of every minutiae of your face. Because when you meet Stephen, that's where his charisma lies. Thank you.
Eddie, directly in front of you. When we talked to the producers, they said they basically had to stalk Stephen's wife to get her approval to get the film made. How important was it to finally have Stephen eventually come on board and be behind the film? And I think he even lends his voice for some of it. How important was that, since you were playing him, for him to be behind the project as well?
Well, it was pretty important. I'm one of those people, when I see a film, I believe everything that's on the screen. So when you're putting someone's life or several people's lives on the screen, there is a responsibility with that. I met Stephen before we started filming, and of course I was looking for his approval, but and he was incredibly generous to me and kind, but he's not the sort of man that's going to go, yeah, just go ahead, I'm thrilled, it's great, go be, I knew that it would involve him seeing the film before he would give his judgment. And when he did, and when he was generous enough to offer us his voice, it was really special, particularly the voice, because I'd been watching all this documentary material and then watching all the dailies, the rushes of the film. And because the makeup department and the costume department had done such a good job at making me resemble Stephen, you began to hope these two things would merge. Of course, that's never going to happen. But when you have Stephen's actual voice for an actor, that's that tiny nudge closer. And so that was wonderful.
Eddie over here, congratulations on the award. First of all, what did you learn about your craft as an actor when you played Stephen Hawking?
What did I learn about my craft as an actor, Mike? What did I learn? God, I reckon I learned that you're only as good as the people you play with. And Felicity Jones in this film, Charlie Cox, Maxine Peake, all of us under James's guidance, we would challenge each other. We were fiercely protective of our characters. It was important that an audience left the film going, what would you do in this situation? That there was no judgment on them. So it was really learning to listen to the actors you're playing with.